Howdy folks, welcome back. It's October 27th, 2020. And gee, we're just right around the corner from Halloween. I think I've seen some goblins running around already. Today we have another Gigapan for you and another UFO story. And today's UFO story comes from me. And it goes back about 5 years ago, coming home from visiting the in-laws. We had my wife and her friend and her son in the car, and for one of the first times ever, I wasn't driving. I was actually a passenger. I got to look out the window. And as we were getting about a mile from the house, coming up a hill, and on the top of the hill is a park. And we got up to the top of the hill, and I looked up in the sky, and I saw these three orange balls just kind of bobbing around up there. Those are hard to tell how high up they were. And I was looking at him with a real wary eye, because in that period of time I'd been listening to a lot of Peter Davenport from the UFO Reporting Center in Seattle. And for quite some time he'd been reporting, or people had been reporting, these balls of light, which turned out in many cases to be your classic Japanese lantern. So as I was looking at them, I thought, well, you know, this looks like these look like Japanese lanterns. Unfortunately, I had hoped for more, but I concluded that they definitely were Japanese lanterns, especially by the way they were bobbing around up there in the wind. And just as I thought they were Japanese lanterns, I'll be darned if they didn't all shoot up and they lined up in a straight row and shot over right in front of our vehicle and started going down the same street that we were on. We had already pulled over, but when they lined up in front of our vehicle, we jumped in the car and started following them. Then they went straight down the street due east from where we were at, and we followed them as long as we could, but I think they were doing somewhere around 300-400 miles an hour, and it didn't take long for them to disappear. Now, the strange thing about this story is talking to my wife later on, sometime later, and I told her that, when I saw those things, I saw these round balls of light, and she thought that they were square. Isn't that funny? Talk about opposites. Either way, there were three of them, and they weren't Japanese lanterns, and they took off lickety-split. Not like so many where they take off, warp speed. They just, 300-400 miles an hour. Anyway, that's my story. Thanks for listening. So on this Gigapan today, it's another interesting picture with very interesting things. Don't I always say that? Right here, this is a really strange looking thing. To me, it kind of looked like a car, right? So it has these rear wheels with this what looks like a wheel cap and lug nuts, and the front one looks like it's buckled under from a broken suspension. But it's much too large to be an automobile. Very unusual, though. And there's some detail on the top that is also very, very strange. I couldn't clear it up any more than it is now. And by the way, there's a fair amount of enhancements going on in the pictures. Quite a few of the pictures are enhanced. I'm just using contrast and brightness and a little bit of exposure as well. Right in the center of the screen, very dead center, looks like a little aircraft there, like as in airplane aircraft. The front of it is black. It seems to have an opening in the front. It's a little bit unusual design. It reminds me of the tail rotor of some of those helicopters, where the tail rotor is nestled inside the that big circle. You know what I'm talking about? One of the things I noticed about this picture is that there are some real differences in the sizes of things. So we're used to seeing a lot of those layers or those decks that people walk on, that people used to walk on, and then right next to it you'll see an absolutely enormous piece of debris. And in the past, I've said that, I've been trying to figure out whether we're talking a nuclear explosion or whether we're talking like a EMP that brought everything down. But I think there's a good chance that that really there was a nuclear explosion, and some of those crafts that came down, some came down in fairly whole condition, others came down in very large pieces, and there are very large pieces all throughout this area. There's also quite a few really unusual shapes. A lot of things we haven't seen before. Of course, we don't know what they are. Here's one of those large pieces of debris with what is that on top? Who knows? Right here looks like there's a great big piece of hull, possibly. Quite a few large pieces scattered about on the top up here. This image has a lot of fairly indistinct debris. Here's a little something something sticking its head up. We don't know what it is. Real unusual looking. It reminds me of something I've seen in submarine warfare. Here's a couple pictures of that very shiny metal that everything is made out of. When the sun hits it just right, it really stands out. Here's a great picture of some levels of some decks. You can see some of them are quite a bit smaller than others. These are the ones that were compressed down. Some more than others, who knows why. These could be the superstructures that have fallen off. It's also possible they could be just pieces of the inner workings of a vessel that have eroded out. You can see some of that shiny metal up there. Take a look at this sandy area off to the left, quote-unquote sandy area. You know, Mars, not everything is what you think it is, right? Even when it comes to stupid old sand, who knows? I don't have any idea what these stripes are all about. I have no idea. I can't figure that out. Look in the white area here in the 3-4 o'clock position. What is that thing sticking up? Looks like a huge sand flea or something. It would be quite large. It's obviously nothing like that, but very, very strange looking. Now we're looking at the very top of the hill, right in the middle. And here we have what appears to be yet another missile, and it's mounted on top of something. It kind of looks like one of those crafts that are just the shape of an airplane fuselage. We've seen those around. This is some of that really huge debris I'm talking about. If you look down in a 3-4 o'clock position, you can see some of those decks or bridges or superstructures. Take a look at the size of the debris to the left. That is absolutely enormous. It has to come from really a destroyed, very large vehicle. You know, one of those really huge ones that we've seen in prior videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. You have a great day, great night, whatever it is.